few months ago I came across a dash piece with gauges. Now the dash itself was pretty cracked up, but the important thing was the gauges so that I could change from this old moon style dash. I didn't realize it had completely different connectors, but I prefer this new idea of having a tach. As you can see, it's really different at the back. I needed to trace out wires as well to various colors. Some of them matched and some of them did not, so I had to use a meter to ohm out exactly where it went. The white wire runs from the negative side of the coil through the firewall and under the dash and then out to where the other wires are for the gauges. Using these schematics from the 89 version and then figuring out what the 1993 version is, wired them through using that connector there. And there's the conversion basically between the two that you have to connect. So all of them are numbered, and basically I also cut out the dash so that I could reach the wires and join them together. Okay, here's the replacement 93 plug, and those are the connections necessary. And it goes into the back here. Okay, here I'm testing the lights after we hooked it up and put it in to make sure that things are generally working as far as the connections. So it looks like everything's okay when it started. So the RPM is working. Per hour is yet to be hooked up, as it needs a speed buffer that was actually built in to the original gauges but is external on the 1993 versions. I managed to find a speed buffer on eBay for a very reasonable price. It hooks up according to this schematic on one of the 93 diagrams. I had to solder the wires to the bottom of the board since I did not have the connector, but that seems to be working fine. The stock location for the speed buffer is behind the insert for the glove compartment, but I wanted to keep the wiring shorter, so I drilled a hole in the dash to route the wires. I'm going to try to put this speed buffer, vehicle speed sensor buffer, in behind here, behind where we used to put the radio and the heating and air conditioning control, so I don't have to put it way over there. I soldered the wires on directly. Anyway, it works. So it's just a matter of putting it all back together here. As you can see, it fits nicely with no interference. The depth of the new gauge pod is shallower than that of the original, so the wires can run behind the pod without any interference. There are jumpers on the D-rack that set what the ratio is to properly register the miles per hour according to the rear end gears and the tire diameter and so forth. However, when I tested it, it turned out that the jumper wires already in place were accurate for my setup, as per verified with the GPS. If it weren't accurate, it's possible to cut the existing jumpers and then solder in new ones, or even put in dip switches that you can set very easily if there are changes. However, I didn't have to do that. The last bit was to figure out how to reset the mileage back from the 180 some thousand on the replacement so that the original mileage would show up properly. It's possible to actually do that. You use a heat gun on the plastic gear that's on the metal shaft, not too much but enough to remove it, and then you space the individual digits out and rotate them while keeping them aligned in the tool, and then put them back together and reinsert it.